Good evening, ma'am. We'll start with the session. So once again, good evening and welcome to this interesting session of educating parents. You know, why educating parents about education. So I'm Dr. Moshmi here to take your session from Sahodya. So why do you think that we need to educate parents? Parents are already educated. If you see, most of the parents are already educated. But do you think it is necessary for us to educate the parents? Yes. You can write in your chat box, yes or no. Do you think you can? Yes. Okay. I can see maximum. Yes. It is necessary for us to educate the parents. To understand the paradigm shift that school education had undergone today, it is important to walk through the journey of a school education from the time our country got freedom. So there is a shift in the education policy from the time our country got freedom. After independence in 1947, India adopted a democratic and secular constitution that guaranteed the right to education for all citizens. The first national policy on education was formulated in 1968, which aimed to promote national integration, social justice, scientific temper, and in 1976, education became a concrete subject, meaning that the central and the state government were equally responsible for creating and implementing education policies. So first, the education policy had come into existence in 1947, then in 1976. So the second national policy came into existence in 1986 that focused on the elementary education, vocationalism of secondary education, expansion of higher education, and improvement of quality of relevance. The Right to Children Free and Compulsory Education Act came into act in 2009, which made elementary education a fundamental right for children aged from 6 to 14. The new education policy, that is NEP 2020, is a game changer where it proposes a complete paradigm shift in the term of our existing educational structure as well as the procedure. Now, parents should be aware of the change. We say NEP 2020 is a game changer. Obviously, it is a game changer. You also must be facing a lot of, when you are following the NEP pattern, NEP 2020 pattern, you are also seeing a lot of changes. So as teachers, when it is difficult for us also to adapt anything in the beginning when it has been introduced. So as parents also, they must be aware of what are the changes. So why parents, if parents are aware, it is a benefit and advantage for the school as well as for the education centers that they collaborate with the institution to bring up their child, right? So I will share a screen with you right now. You can just see what are the things, why it is important. I will share the screen. You can see. About education can be valuable investments in their understanding and support of their child's education. Why it is important? Why it is important for the parents to support in their child's education? We are, as in school, we are taking care, but educating the parents will also support, and it will be a backbone for us if they know about the system and the new technologies which are being introduced or which are being changing day to day. If parents are aware of it, it is easier for us to work and collaborate together to bring up the child. Here are some suggestions on how to approach this conversation. Now you see what is it written. It is written over here, preparation. What do you mean by preparation? Choose the right time and place. Find a comfortable and quiet setting where everyone can focus on the conversation. When you are telling something to the parents, you want to tell them something new about the education system. Like for our education system, the new NEP 2020, I think all must have been told to make the parents aware by the council. Also, it has been told that the parents also should be aware of the NEP 2020, the changes. The foundational core stage is from 3 years of pre-primary to Anganwadi plus class 1 and 2, which is of 3 to 8 years of age group, which is a period of 5 years. As school teachers, you are aware of it. Even the parents should be aware of this. Then we have the preparatory classes, which is from class 3, 4, and 5, which covers the age group of 8 years to 11 years, and the duration period is for 3 years. Middle school is from class 6 to 8, which is the age group of 11 years to 14 years, and which covers a period of 3 years. Secondary is from class 9 to class 12, which covers the age of 14 years to 18 years, and it is a period of 4 years. So what is the NEP 2020 saying? What is the age? What is the time period? That is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So when we just say what the NEP 2020 says 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. But do you think the parents will understand if you say like this? They will not. You have to make them understand. You have to tell them what it exactly means. Now the age group is being set for each and every level. So they also should be aware of it, because India wants all the children to be educated. Everyone has to be educated. So parents also need to know what is the education system. So for that, we need to make them understand. They have to gather information. How will they gather information? The school, the teachers, these are the main source. Nowadays, we have social media to gather the informations. But as school, when we are running a school and the teachers are there, so we say the library, or you can say the think tank is already the school. So to give them the correct information time to time is the duty of the school as well as the teachers, to make them understand what is the change in education system, why assessments are, we'll be doing about assessments later on today's session, why assessments are being taken, what is the importance of assessments, and how to assess them, on what basis are assessments are being done. Parents are not aware of it. Until and unless you make them aware, आप उनको बताइए कि क्या है, क्या हमारे एजुकेशन पॉलिसी में चेंजेस आया है, किस लिए चेंजेस आया है, बेटरमेंट के लिए चेंजेस आया है, तो क्या फायदे हमें हैं उससे, और उनका साथ मिलेगा तो हमारे लिए भी फायदा होगा, उनके बच्चे के ग्रोथ के लिए। और फिर असेसमेंट एग्जामिनेशंस किस लिए जरूरी है, वो भी आपको पता चलेगा, उनको बताने पे वो आपका साथ देंगे। नेक्स्ट वी कम टू द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। These are the key points to discuss. See, what will you discuss with the parents? The importance of education. Explain how education can impact their child's future, career prospects, and personal growth. Okay, different learning styles. Discuss how the children will learn in various ways, such as, nowadays it is not rote learning. Board has totally stopped about rote learning. It is now what we say nowadays is according to activity based learning by doing. पहले क्या होता था, जो टीचर ने कहा, जो टीचर ने लिख के दिया, बच्चा वही करता था। बट अभी समय के साथ में एनईपी 2020 ने बनाया है कि आपको एक्टिविटी बेस्ड लर्निंग करना है, लर्निंग बाय डूइंग, करके सीखना है, एक्सपेरिमेंट करके सीखना है। तो आपके पास भी पेरेंट्स आते होंगे कि मैम आपने नोट्स नहीं दिया, आपने नोटबुक में कुछ नहीं लिखाया है। उनको समझाना है, आपको क्यों समझाना है कि अभी जो है सिस्टम में चेंजेस आया है, एजुकेशन पॉलिसी में चेंजेस आया है। अभी जो है वी डोंट नीड रोट लर्निंग, हमें खाली जो खाली याद कर लेने से नहीं होगा, उसको प्रैक्टिकली करके तब करना है। उससे क्या होता है, the child will put effort and the child will know what the child is learning. The child will, first time when the child takes and making, you must have given a project or something like that if you have given, but the child is not able to complete it properly. Next time the child will try, okay, he will know, I have done mistakes over there, so I will overcome that mistake and move forward. So that encourages the child also. In that way, it always, what happens, it always goes to the advantage for the school and for the development of the child. So you have to make the parents also understand that this is the reason, this is the the change in the education policy which has taken place, and now everybody is going to be taught in this manner. Rote learning is not there. The role of technology in education, now you see everything is technology based, AI आ चुका है, ठीक है, तो उनको भी ये पता होना चाहिए ना, ठीक है, पेरेंट्स अपने वॉट एवर इट इज, यू कैन से दैट वो सोशल मीडिया से देखते हैं या जो भी कुछ करते हैं, बट एज स्टेक होल्डर्स आपका काम क्या होता है, टू एडुकेट देम, टू मेक देम अंडरस्टैंड कि नहीं, हमारे इनिशिएटिव्स ऐसे हैं, आपको ये पता होना चाहिए, ताकि बच्चा जब घर भी जाए तो उसके पेरेंट्स उसको help करें, to help them. It is all because we have to develop a a child. एक छोटी सी, मतलब एक पौधे को हम लोग जब उसको बड़ा पेड़ होते हुए देखते हैं तो बहुत मेहनत लगती है उसमें, एक पेड़ बनाने में हमें बहुत मेहनत लगती है, एक अकेला इंसान यहाँ पे पेड़ नहीं उगा सकता है एक पौधे से. We need the support of the parents also equally, because children are there with you for 6 hours or 5.5 hours in a day, but maximum time they are spending in their house. So parents also have a very important role in the development of the child. They cannot say that we are sending the child to school, so our duty is over. No, they also need to participate in each and every, the changes what are taking place in their child's life, in the child's education system, everything. So over here, technology also plays an important role. Explore how technology can enhance training, provide access to resources, and facilitate communications between teachers, parents, and students. The value of extracurricular activities highlights the benefits of participating in sports clubs and volunteer work. Okay, now sports is also a very important role. Only studying sports also plays a very important role in the child's life. So now sports also have their rules, which keeps changing accordingly. So as parents, as teachers, you are aware of it. I don't think so. All the teachers, other than the PT teachers, all the teachers are aware of the new rules of the sports of each game. So as you are not aware, but the parents should also be aware of it. You also should keep in mind what is the system, what has to be done, what changes are being made, what. So you have to keep them updated. Okay. So for every field, for the child's development, it is not only studies, it is sports, it is extracurricular activities. There are different type of clubs you must be having it in your school, right? There must be eco club, there must be now we have that electoral club, and there are various numbers of activities which are taking place in schools, in different criteria. So parents should also be aware of it. So this is the thing which I'm going to explain you today, why it is important for educating the parents. Educating, that is mean that you have to teach the parents the subject or something. You have to educate them about the education policy, the changes in the education policy, the changes in the education system जो हमारे देश में हो रही है. असेसमेंट्स पहले कैसे होते थे, अभी असेसमेंट्स कैसे होते हैं, कितने आपके कॉम्पिटिटिव बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस होते हैं, कितने आपके मतलब किस लिए असेसमेंट जरूरी है, और उसका मेथड क्या है, उसका स्ट्रक्चर किस तरह से बना हुआ है, उसी तरह से. देन क्रिएटिंग एंड डेडिकेट स्टडी कैसे करना है. उसके बाद अटेंडिंग पेरेंट्स टीचर कॉन्फ्रेंस. अच्छा, पेरेंट्स टीचर्स जो बहुत पेरेंट्स होते हैं कि नहीं वो नहीं आ पाते हैं पेरेंट्स टीचर मीटिंग में, तो उनको बताना पड़ता है कि व्हाट इज द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ PTM. I don't think so in any school there must be 100% attendance during the PTM from each and every parent. There are some of the other parents who take it very casually. Okay, they just don't come that I have no time, or there must be some parents who are very underprivileged and all something like that, so they have difficulties. But you have to educate them why PTMs are being there. PTMs क्यों बनाए जाते हैं? Why PTMs बनाए जाते हैं? What is the importance of PTM? PTM से क्या होता है कि you know your child. How will you know your child? Okay, आपको अपने child को कैसे समझना है? Now there is you can see over here in the slide. It is the tips for effective communication. Now, effective communication with who? With whom are you going to do the effective communication? This effective communication is with the parents. Use clear and simple language. Avoid using technical and complicated terms that might confuse them. Now, what happens is when you are talking to the parents, you must keep it in mind that you are not having the same category of parents sitting with you. You must be having a very high class parents, a mediocre parents, and a parents who's coming from a BPL background. So you have to talk to them in such a manner that it is not very high-fi terms, not very complicated terms, simple language which can be understood by everybody. और एक चीज है like how CBSE says that हमें बच्चों के साथ भी मल्टी लैंग्वेज बोलना चाहिए, तो कोशिश करना है when parents are there हमें उनके साथ भी मल्टी लैंग्वेज बोलना है to make them understand. इससे क्या होता है that the parents actually they understand what you want, and if they understand what you want, it is always easier for you to communicate with them, and they will be collaborating with you, and it is always a helpful guide. If you use these terms, a simple term, it is always helpful for you. It's a guide for you to get the collaboration of the parents. If parents collaborate with you, it is the best thing I can say that in the growth of the child. And if the child comes out with flying colors, it is the reward for the teachers and the school. So talk to them in a very simple language. Listen to them. Okay, sometimes they are also right. We cannot say that, we keep on imposing our our policies that think ऐसे करना वैसे करना है, आपका बच्चा ये नहीं वैसा नहीं. You have to listen to them. आपको सुनना है. Sometimes they if you have a similar type of points coming from a majority parents, so you can implement on those points. You can see and try to implement what are the parents, and then you can work on it. It is always good to take suggestions. And you know why? Because they are the people who will be giving you a good suggestion, because their child is under your it's your responsibility. So they would also want a positive response for their child, as you are also accepting a positive response from the child. So listen to them attentively. Then use examples and all. You share some personal experience or some stories or something to relate them, to make them understand. Now, sometimes what happens when now you can see that APAR ID work is going on. So what is happening? Some parents are very rigid. कि आधार कार्ड में ये नहीं है तो ठीक है मैम अभी हम change नहीं. They get rigid. Okay, but you have to make them understand कि APAR ID का जरूरत क्या है. What is the need of APAR ID? Right? आप you have to make them understand. तो उनको जब तक खुद समझ में ही नहीं आएगा तो वो कैसे आपको सपोर्ट करेंगे. तो डे टू डे आप लोग क्या कीजिए, आप लोग पीटीएम्स को शेड्यूल कीजिए. जब पीटीएम्स शेड्यूल करते हैं तो ये सारी चीजें यू कीप इट इन माइंड दैट यूज क्लियर एंड सिंपल लैंग्वेज, लिसन अटेंटिवली, टेक देयर सजेशंस, बी पेशेंस एंड ओपन माइंडेड. आप अगर गुस्सा हो जाएंगे, रिजिड हो जाएंगे, तो वो आपके साथ में खुल के बात नहीं करेंगे. आई नो इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल to give time to 40 or 45 parents together, but some points can be discussed with parents. Okay, because it is the need for the child's development. Okay, sometimes you see in the classes what is happening, a child is very quiet or something. Okay, maybe the child was very active initially, but slowly you can see the difference in the child. The child tries to keep himself or herself towards means he prefers to be a silent child rather than what he or she was earlier. So you ask the child, what is the problem? Maybe some problem is there in the classroom. If it is in the classroom, you can solve it as teacher. But if the child is having some personal issues, call the parents, talk to the parents. Children come from broken families. Okay, but you should make the parents understand what the child is facing in the class, what are the difficulties of the child when a broken family is there. So try to help them. I'm not saying that you get into their personal issues, but you can always help in the development of the child. As teachers, as educators, it is your responsibility to take the overall responsibility of the child who is with you for 6 hours every day. So we move to the next slide. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is to know your child. What do you mean by KVC? It is about knowing your child. Knowing your child means what? Now, I'll show you a video after this. These are the follow-ups of the next steps, what we had done. Like I said that when we are having PTMs regularly, so what you can do, you can share some articles, you can show if all the schools nowadays have smart classes, so you can use your smart boards and just, you know, if you always use Hindi will be there, and in English you can write down some points which are important for the parents, which you don't need to repeat 10 times. The common points you can write it down over there. Encourage ongoing conversations, invite them to ask questions and share their thoughts and concerns about their child's education. After all, they should be concerned. They should be, I'm not saying that they are not concerned about their child, but they are concerned, but they should be more conscious. They cannot think that if they have put the child in the school, so overall it's the school's responsibility only for the development of the child. No, make them understand the parents play a very important role in the education of the child. Education now work together, develop strategies for support for the child's learning education goals. So I was talking about KYC. So what is KYC? You must have heard about KYC, update your KYC in your bank account and everything we say. But this KYC is something else, which is known as Know Your Child. It is about Know Your Child. So how you must see that we need the parents to be educated and to be aware of the emotional intelligence also. See, the child's emotional intelligence plays a very important role in his life. We say, like the teachers who are teaching in standard level, especially or standard, you can say in the plus two levels, you must have experienced in your life that the child must have been very good in science subjects. Okay, must have scored in 80s, 90s and above. Okay, but the child lands up with commerce or humanities. Okay, and a child is not very good in, does not have interest in science subjects, he has or she has interest more in humanities. Okay, like literature, you can say, has more interest in literature, but the child has got good marks and the child has taken up science. Now what happens is the child's interest plays a very important role. Now, you as a teacher may be knowing the child is good in studies, but the child has a knack or interest in literature. But the parents have forced the child to take up pure science. मेरा बच्चा तो engineer बना, मेरा बच्चे को engineering नहीं जानना है. Now what happens? What we are doing, we are playing with the emotional intelligence of the child. अब child का इंटरेस्ट कहाँ पे है, चाइल्ड का इंटरेस्ट लिटरेचर में है. सो डू यू थिंक कि चाइल्ड उतना फोकस कर पाएगा साइंस सब्जेक्ट्स में, या इंटरेस्टिंग हो पाएगा इन इंजीनियरिंग में? ठीक है, वो गॉड गिफ्टेड है, पढ़ने में बहुत अच्छा है, इंजीनियरिंग क्रैक कर लिया, ही वेंट फॉर हिज इंजीनियरिंग, ही गॉट अ जॉब आल्सो. विल ही बी मेंटली सैटिस्फाइड इन व्हाट ही इज डूइंग? He will not, or she will not be mentally satisfied, because the knack for literature was there from the childhood, but because of the parents' force, the child had taken up science. So these things need to be told to the parents. Counseling for parents is also very needed. So to know your child, the teacher plays a very important role. You are the bridge between the child and the parents to make them understand how to know their child, how to know the interest of the child. The parents may say, "Ma'am, मेरे बच्चे ने तो कभी नहीं बोला कि वो literature पढ़ेगा. आपके पास कैसे आप कैसे बोल रहे हैं कि वो literature पढ़ेगा?" They may say that, but you have to make them understand. Maybe the child is in fear, could not open his mouth or could not open her mouth and tell in front of the parents because the child knows that मेरे parents ने मुझे शुरू से बोला पापा आपको इंजीनियरिंग बनना है, आपको और किसी चीज में नहीं जाना, आपको इंजीनियरिंग ही करना है. So who plays an important role at that time? You as teachers play a very important role because you are the bridge among the child and the parent. You have to make the parents understand कि child का ये knack है, ये उसका interest है, जिस field में वो जाना चाहता है उसमें वो और अच्छा से करेगा. So you try it out. I don't say that 100% you will be successful. Maybe you will be able to convince the parents and the child is also happy in that way. And you see the interest level of the child at that time. Okay. So emotional intelligence also plays a very important role. It always plays an important role. We say IQ and EQ. Okay, इंटेलिजेंस कैसे मापते हैं हम लोग. बच्चे का इमोशनल बैलेंस बहुत जरूरी होता है. इट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू नो. एंड as teachers, I would always say that talk to the parents, make them understand about the emotional values also of the child. The, then spending quality time does not mean that you are like, you have to tell the parents that they should need to spend. I do say that if quality time can be taken out for 5-10 minutes also in a day. तो बोलते होंगे हम तो दिहाड़ी मजदूर है मैडम, हम लोग अगर बच्चे के साथ में ही समय बिताएंगे तो हम लोग कैसे पढ़ाई अपना काम करेंगे. बट यू हैव टू मेक देम अंडरस्टैंड कि आपका 10 मिनट भी बच्चे के लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है. You have to give some of the other examples. You have to make them understand. Okay, then anytime memory, that is ATM. We say anytime memory, which is a gift of memory by spending quality time with your child. You know, the memories वो रह जाएंगे, उनको समझाइए कि ATM, make short terms. बोलिए ATM. आप एनी टाइम मेमोरी, आपका बच्चा जब बड़ा होगा तो उसको याद रहेगा कि मेरे फादर मदर मेरे साथ टाइम स्पेंड करके मेरे इमोशंस को समझे, मेरे साथ कैसे हैं, कैसे बिहेव करते हैं. Like they remember you as teachers when they go out of the school also and they are into the universities or when they are working. They remember some of the teachers because they must have spent some quality time with them, or they had a, you can say, a safe zone with that teacher. They used to think that, okay, I'm very safe talking to this teacher. This teacher, understands my emotional values. She understands what I want to say. Okay, so that comfort zone has to come from the parents also. Tell them that they are not only paying the fees. Fees is a first thing which they have to do for their child. Other than that, there are a lot of responsibilities which the parents need to take care for educating their child for a better development. Okay, so then there are other aspects also. Daniel Goleman's theory of emotional intelligence, I will be showing it to you, a video in which he had discussed about the 5 aspects, okay, in detail. So the 5 aspects were self-awareness, self-management, motivation, empathy, and relationship management. So we'll just see a video now. Okay. And if the sound is there, just put a thumbs up. Okay. So I can come to know.
1983, American psychologist Howard Gardner published a
Is
book
it
with a
audible? Is
theory
the
that
video
there are
audible?
9
If it is
types of
audible, please put a
intelligence.
thumbs up.
To understand this theory, let's consider the problem of the Council of Newtown, who wants to build a bridge over the
Okay, it's audible.
dangerous railroad tracks. But there is strong
Please watch this
opposition from
video
some
carefully.
citizens who don't like change. Despite the demonstrations, the council agrees to go ahead and then hires a team of 9 experts from Smarts & Co. to get the job done. Let's introduce each one of them. Miss Picture Smart played a lot of hide and seek when she was young, and she loved puzzles. She has lots of imagination and ideas about shapes. Her job in the project is to create the plans, make the designs, and build a prototype. Mr. Nature Smart loves trees, and he has great ideas of how to minimize the impact of a bridge on the environment. He started thinking of these issues ever since the first time he went summer camping with Dad. He developed a passion for all living beings. Mrs. Number Smart is a nerd. She always was. In the playground, she was already calculating the sand buckets needed to build the biggest castle. In high school, she was the chess master and everyone was so proud of her. She will calculate the costs, study workers' safety issues, and estimate the raw materials needed. Her concerns are the budget, resources, and risks. Mrs. People Smart arranges a town meeting and goes out to invite all the citizens to come. She was always good with people. As a kid, she spent most of the time outside with her neighbors. As a teenager, her mom explained to her that most people mean well, even if they have trouble showing their feelings. Today, everyone loves her, and she does a great job convincing everyone, even the most outspoken opponents.
Is the video audible?
Miss Wordsmart has been keeping a diary since she was young. Maths class, she wrote poems, and during field trips, she didn't talk to others, but instead studied the travel guide. For the big town hall meeting, she writes a convincing speech filled with hard facts, big feelings, and good metaphors. Ever since he was young, Jimmy LifeSmart knew how to talk and entertain. Today, he shows his skills on the stage. He starts his speech with a personal story about his cat that once got lost on the train tracks. Then he delivers all the arguments with so much passion that all citizens can only agree with the plan. Miss Wordsmart is delighted to see the impact of her work. Now, as construction starts, Mr. Body Smart gets ready to get things done. Even the children are inspired by his power and want to help. During the breaks, he plays football with his team, which is fun and teaches him balance skills he later can use high up in the sky. Madam Self-Smart knows a lot about feelings, our fears, joys and angers. She learned this from her own past where she started to reflect on herself. But she also reads a lot about feelings and talks to her friends about their emotions. During the construction, she is the positive force, motivates those that feel down, and solves tensions that can come up when we collaborate. While everyone is busy finishing the bridge, Mrs. Music Smart writes a song for the grand opening. She has loved music ever since she started playing the piano. Later, she moved on to hip-hop and jazz dance. At the opening ceremony of the bridge, she and her band performed the song. It was a fantastic team effort from all 9 of the Smart & Co. In 2016, Gardner said that he is considering adding pedagogical intelligence, or Teach Smart. What do you think? Is he right or wrong about these types? Or are IQ, EQ, or other forms of intelligence better classifications? Please be Teach Smart and tell us what you think about intelligence theory in the comments below.
Okay, so you saw what is IQ and EQ. That is what we were talking all about. And now we were talking about educating the parents. What did we talk about? Why education policy should be, uh, up to date with the parents. And then we talked about PTM. We talked about to know your to know your child, KYC, ATM. So these are the short terms. Now, educating parents about education means informing, guiding, and supporting parents to understand the various aspects of education, enabling them to benefits. Now, what are the benefits now? We talked about everything. We talked about the benefits also. So what are the benefits? Make informed decisions. Parents can make informed decisions about their child's education, such as choosing the right school, curriculum, or extracurricular activities. Support their child's learning. They can support in their child's learning in choosing when they are into the career, into the phase of choosing science and in the different streams. It supports them. By understanding educational concepts, parents can better support their child's learning, identifying areas of strength and weaknesses, and provide target support. Okay, now what happens is understanding the areas of or identifying their areas of strength and weaknesses. Now, as teachers, you understand, you mark them according to their strength and weaknesses. But for a parent, always you see दैट उनका बच्चा उनके लिए राजकुमार होता है ना। जब आप उनकी वीकनेसेस के बारे में बोलते हो, जो वीकनेसेस उनको हो सकता है घर पे नहीं दिखती हो, तो आप उनको बताते हो, तो उनको किस तरह से यू आर सेइंग, you have to be in a very polite, in an understanding way. You have to talk to them, make them understand this, because अगर वो weakness strengths को लेके चलेंगे and weaknesses को overlook करेंगे, तो this will not be a holistic development in a child's life. वो नहीं हो सकता है। वीकनेसेस के ऊपर ही काम करना है, उसके ऊपर they have to work upon the weaknesses. Alone a teacher cannot work upon the weaknesses. Maybe the weaknesses are coming because of the lack of support from the family. There must be something or some other reason which we are not able to find out in the classroom. It must be in the house or the surroundings. So they need together, the parents and the teachers together need to work upon the child's weaknesses. So the child comes out, and the child himself, at certain age, the child himself also needs to be working on his weaknesses and communicate effectively with teachers. Why they need to communicate. They cannot blame the teachers for everything. You have to make them understand that they cannot blame. आपने मेरे बच्चे का मार्क्स काट लिया, ये काट लिया, ट्यूशन में बहुत अच्छा करता है मेरा बेटा. The first thing you must be hearing from the parents is ट्यूशन में तो सब लिखता है, आपकी क्लास में आके नहीं लिखता है मैम. क्यों नहीं लिखता है आप बताओ. मेरे ट्यूशन टीचर बोलते हैं कि मेरा बच्चा सब लिखता है. This is a common dialogue. I think so most of the teachers must have heard. If you have heard, just put a yes, that if you have heard from the parents saying that कि yes, they say that parents मेरे आपकी क्लास में क्यों नहीं लिखता, मुझे समझ में नहीं आता है, पर ट्यूशन में तो सब लिखता है. Okay, so this the parents हमेशा बोलते just write down in your chat box if you have heard about it. So they say that. So why tuition and school का environment is totally different. So वो सारी चीजें आपको समझाना है. You have to make them understand that why the child is not doing it. Okay, you are not a terror for the child. As a teacher, you are not terror for the child. You have to make them understand. And the collaboration between, or the interaction between a parents and the teacher should be in a very nice, in a very supportive manner. They need to support you, you also need to support them. You just make them understand that आपको हम ज्ञान नहीं दे रहे हैं, आपको समझा रहे हैं. क्यों समझा रहे हैं? क्योंकि आप और हम दोनों मिलकर ही बच्चे का डेवलपमेंट कर सकते हैं. ना हम अकेले कर सकते हैं, ना आप अकेले कर सकते हो. हम दोनों का साथ होगा तभी बच्चे का डेवलपमेंट होगा. So the parents as well as the school is both equally important for the development of the child. Now, we have parents who understand education can be more effective in their child. मतलब जो समझते हैं education. I told you there are different levels of parents you must be facing in your classrooms. There are parents who are very learned, there are parents who are mediocre, there are parents who know half and half, and there are parents who don't know anything. So the people who are half and half, मतलब जो कम जानते हैं तो उनको समझाना आपको ज़रूरी है। कम जान के वो दिखाते हैं कि सब जानते हैं। So these type of parents also I think so you must facing. तो इन पेरेंट्स को कैसे समझाना है? I had already told you पेशेंटली समझाना है, आपको उनकी बातें सुननी है, आपको मैं ये नहीं बोलती हूँ कि सब बातें आप सुन लिए, आप बोल दिए हाँ उन्हीं बातों पे हमें काम करना, नहीं, आप उनको ये दिखाओ कि आप उनका बात समझ रहे हैं, सुन रहे हैं, लेकिन आप भी वही कर रहे हैं जो उनके बच्चे के हित के लिए है. So this has to be made very clear to them that we all are working for the development of the child. We are not working only because we are teachers appointed over here and हमने salary उठाया तो हमें ये करना नहीं. We are working for the development of the child. Both of us as parents also, as teachers also, we are working for your development of the child. You have to make them understand. You have to be patient. There are some parents who understand you very well, what you want to say. They may understand you. There are ones who are very rigid, and there are ones who don't understand. You have to deal with them in another way. Softly, अच्छे से उनको समझाइए. आप एक प्लानिंग कीजिए, आप एक रोड मैप बनाइए, आप उस पेरेंट्स के ग्रुप को अलग से बुलाइए. Make them understand these are the things. How the changes have been brought, कैसे एजुकेशन सिस्टम में चेंजेस आया है, ये सारी चीजें जो है आपको उनको बताना पड़ेगा. You tell them what is KYC, know your child, make them understand that you should spend quality time with them. ATM, what is ATM, हम लोग ने बात किया था ATM के बारे में, है ना. तो वो सारी चीजें मेमोराइज रह जाएंगे, मेमोरीज रह जाएंगे. आप अपने बच्चे के साथ में क्वालिटी टाइम स्पेंड कीजिए. बच्चे का किस चीज में a child is more inclined towards. The child may be very good at sports, but the child is not good in studies. But studies is also equally important for them. Okay, what are the options in sports if the child takes up sports for his future? So what are the benefits of it? So make them understand. They will say that मैम खाली फुटबॉल खेलता है, खेलते ही रहता है, खेलने से क्या होगा, पढ़ाई नहीं करती. But you have to give them examples. आप examples के साथ उनको समझाओ कि sports में भी पढ़ाई होती है, स्पोर्ट्स में भी फील्ड है जॉब के, तो वो कैसे हैं. At the early stage, if you start with all these things, it is easier for them to understand what is going to be there. अगर आप अर्ली स्टेज में उनको समझाते हो एंड दे विल कोऑपरेट यू, तो वो बच्चे के लिए बेनिफिट होगा. If the parents are educated for the and I don't mean education means you're teaching them. If they know the child कि मेरा बच्चा का किस चीज में ज्यादा मतलब इम्पोर्टेंस देने से अच्छा होगा मेरे बच्चे के डेवलपमेंट के लिए, तो वो बाद में जाके वो बच्चे का इमोशनल वैल्यू के साथ में, इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस के साथ में हैम्पर नहीं करेगा. They will support the child. Parents will also support the child, and it will be easier for you also for to differentiate the child in the class for its betterment. Then we have, why is students assessment important? Now assessments are there, regular assessments are you taking, then what is the purpose? One thing which I want to tell you is you make the parents understand what is the purpose for the child to come to school. Is the purpose only for coming to school for 6 hours? उसने बुक्स लाया है, करेक्शन हो गया आपका, आपने पढ़ा दिया, वो घर चले गया. Only this is the thing why the child is coming, and month में उन्होंने fee pay कर दिया. Is this the thing why they are coming to school? What is the purpose? What is the purpose for a child of coming to school? That has to be made very clear to the parents. Now, parents should understand the purpose of why the child is coming to school. It is not only about studies, it is all about the development of the child. The development of the child means child का हर तरफ से development, sports की तरफ से development, एंड उसके स्पीकिंग स्किल्स की तरफ से डेवलपमेंट, उसका टेक्नोलॉजिकल वे में डेवलपमेंट है, हर चीज में डेवलपमेंट है. उनको अंडरस्टैंड, they should understand the teaching learning process, the multi language we say. Now what happens nowadays, we have to be bilanguage or we have to use multi language in lower classes. Okay, but do you think that it has to be continued for higher class? No. Now, to make the child be comfortable in the class, we start with language in lower classes. In the time, you can say that in nursery we can start with it, and then okay till LKG I can understand a little bit because it is English is a new language for the child. For those children who are for the first time coming to English medium in their whole family, so it is difficult for them to understand English because it is a new language which they need time to get equipped with. But the children who are coming from families where they have already speaking in English, it is not difficult. But for those children, you can use it. So give a comfort zone to the child also. So the purpose, if the children don't want, if they don't have the interest of coming to school, then what is the purpose of creating schools and teachers? So you have to create an interesting classroom. Your role is very important as teachers over here because you should have such a aura in you that the child itself says that mama, I want to go to school. The child does not cry to come to school. Okay, the child is very happy when the mother says or the father says, okay beta, you have to get ready for school. The child does not cry and makes fuss. And you must have seen, or you must have, as if you're a parent, you must have observed that a child's or children always complain when they don't want to go to school, stomach pain. Okay, if you have faced with this, you can put yes or no. So they always complain stomach pain. Nothing doing, nothing going to school means one excuse is there, that stomach pain. Okay, so why the child is giving excuses means the child is not getting the comfort zone. The comfort zone is in the house. So that comfort zone has to be taken out and put in the classroom. I'm not saying the same thing you give in the classroom, but your classroom should be a comfort zone for the child. एक positive vibes आना चाहिए, आप में से भी आना चाहिए, और बच्चे तब automatically school आएंगे. एंड अगर बच्चे ही नहीं आएंगे स्कूल तो फिर पेरेंट्स कहाँ से आएंगे? So you have to create the purpose for the child to come to school. You must be, you yourself must be aware of the board assessment systems, the methods of technology, the teaching methods, everything. And then if you're versatile with a particular topic, then only you discuss with the parents. हाफ नॉलेज लेके अगर आप डिस्कस करते हो तो वो कुछ और समझेंगे, आप कुछ और बोलेंगे तो वो नहीं चलेगा. आप ही अपने आप को पूरी अपडेट कीजिए, पेरेंट्स को भी समझाइए, बताइए व्हाट इज द पर्पस फॉर देम टू कम टू स्कूल. ये नहीं कि पेरेंट्स हमेशा बोलेगा मैम नहीं मेरा बच्चा रो रहा है मैंने स्कूल नहीं भेजा है, मैम हमें शादी में जाना है तो इसी के लिए हमने बच्चे को इतने दिन की छुट्टी दी है. नो, you have to make them understand that school आना कितना जरूरी है. Why do we say that we need 75% of attendance in the boards? Why cannot be done in the classrooms also for lower classes? Why? It has to be there. The purpose of the child coming to school means you have to create such an environment, and with the support of the parents, you have to say that शादियां तो आती जाती, आपका बच्चा का डेवलपमेंट भी बहुत जरूरी है. You have to make them understand that why the child needs to come to school, right? So now let us talk about the assessments. What are the assessments and all? Why assessments? Now this is the we'll talk assessments. I'll talk about it later on. These are the effective strategies for educating parents. Like what I was telling you, like coming to school for the child, how the purpose of coming to school and everything. So now, how can you make strategies? I was telling you, that you have different categories of parents. So you can divide them, and you can conduct workshops for them, organize workshops, seminars, webinars on specific educational topics. Now, you think which is important for your parents, means your students' parents to know. You focus on that. Okay, it can be in Hindi, mix Hindi, English together, how we take our workshops so that everybody understands it. Okay, it is, or if you're into your state and you need to add a local language, add that local language, but make them understand why it is necessary. Now, parents teacher conferences, regular schedule them. Okay, you should be in touch with the parents, and not that every day you keep, like there are parents who will come and bother you every day. Madam, my child has not written this in the class. Ma'am, my child has not given the notebook. His notebook is not corrected yesterday's work, this and that. So there are some parents who are irritating at some times, but deal with them in a very very, very gentle, polite way. Make them understand there is a specific time given, ma'am. We will call you, and other things we will communicate with you day to day in the diary. Every school must be having a diary where you have the parents teacher communication column, or you communicate with them with one to one over the WhatsApp, or your own way of, strategies are made by the schools to communicate with the parents. But in a mass, if you're communicating, you differentiate the categories and understand and make your, schedule them in such a way that you make them understand what is all the education policies changes in the education system, the changes which has come, how they need to work with us as stakeholders, how only paying the fees is not enough for them, how they are going to help us. You don't say that parents आपके help के बिना तो हम बच्चे को पढ़ा नहीं सकते. If you say that, then they say that school किस लिए होता है. You have to make them understand that why they are important for us, why parents are important for us. They are important for their child's development in another way. You are important as teachers in another way. So both of us, if we collaborate with each other, it is going to give 100% results to the child, and the child belongs to the parent. So you have to make them understand. Then you have newsletters, online resources, you have volunteer opportunities are there. Encourage parents to volunteer in classroom activities. You can, make them, how can they volunteer? You can make them volunteer. If you're having some programs, you make them as a, give them an opportunity, encourage them. You have some programs for them, let them volunteer. If you're having a blood donation camp in your school, so give them the volunteerism, let them do it, let them help you out. So it's, you're doing it for a good gesture, right? So they will also, be encouraged. So the child also will know, okay, I'm doing something for someone. So encourage them. One-on-one consultation. Okay, some parents I say who come from BPL background or non-educated background, you need to give them time, make them understand, because they think teachers are God for them. So you have to take them also in consideration, make them understand what is it. Okay, so let us talk about the assessments quickly. Like, now the board has changed the assessment systems, that the parents should be aware of it, why we are taking tests, why regular tests, and why assessments are necessary. आप टेस्ट ही टेस्ट लेते हैं मैडम, मेरे बच्चे को दिन भर पढ़ना रहता है. नहीं, test assessments can be in different way. It can be in an activity based also. It can be in a playway method. It depends upon the level of class you are taking. So they have not only by rote learning assessments are not being marked. It has to be done by the teaching what you are doing now due to the new education policy, the method of MCQs, etc. Then there are so many other ways of assessments you are doing in the class. The students assessment, why it enables, what effective measures are there to be taken. Okay, make them understand. Students by teaching, by thinking, their performance to specify learning objectives. As a result, teachers are able to understand the effective teaching choice and revise effectively. In what happens is, if you're taking regular assessments, it helps you also to know your child. We were talking about KYC, to know your child. With regular assessments, you know your child. Don't put pressure on them, but you will know after a subject you have taught why you are taking a test, to know that what percentage of the class has understood or not understood. If they have understood, okay, you make you make a parameter in which you feel that, okay, this part the children are struggling with, the marks is being, they have lost marks because of this chapters, this portion. So you work on that portion. So make the parents also understand why assessments are there, why we are taking regular assessments, why the board has set for regular assessments. Okay, primary purpose kya hota hai? Assessments is to promote the learning and development of the child. What is it actually? It is the learning for the development of the students, of the child. So that is why regular assessment should be there. Assessment also enables schools to report information to parents. Okay, so you are reporting to the parents. The parents also come to know, okay, my child day to day kaisa kar raha hai. So assessment. Agar assessment nahi hoga, to how will you know whether the child has understood or not? I'm not saying that it is very difficult for you to take a test after every chapter. Not necessary that you take a written test. You can have quizzes. You can have different types. You can use your creativity and just make an assessment. It is a helping guide for you to know that how much your class has understood the chapter, what you want. Your objective was how you have measured to reach your objective. आपका objective क्या था when you're preparing the lesson? That at the end of the class, my students will be able to understand this. So if they have reached that level, you score yourself. But if they are unable to reach the benchmark, what you had set, then there is a drawback. Where is the drawback? You take out that drawback, work upon that, work upon the weakness where there are, along with the parents also. They will also come to know if regular assessments are there. They will also come to know that where the drawbacks are there, where the weaknesses are there. We were talking about weakness and strengths and weaknesses. No, so where the child is lagging behind, or where as a teacher I am lagging behind, that the majority of the children of the class are not understanding particular portion of the chapter. So you need to enhance yourself. You need to be polished enough, or maybe you need to communicate them in another way. So you will know your drawbacks also, and then you have a better way of making them understand. So assessments are also very, very important. Okay. Then, and assessments you keep on doing when you're going before you are going to a new chapter, have an assessment for the previous chapter. Now think about any one of your students. This is just I'm giving you you can say a worksheet for you. You can do it. Think about any one of your student. Note down the quality he or she has. Okay, which subject he likes the most, what he or she is good at, what about his relations with peer and teachers, what about his awareness towards nature. Okay, now we were talking about the intelligence part. Now this is multiple intelligence, what we see. We can see over here what is the multiple intelligence. Over here you can see how it is being marked. Now this is the explanation of the multiple intelligence. Like when we talk about puzzle building, then we have a lot of things, no, sculpture, art, everything. Then we have skills, recognize one's connection to nature and apply science theory to life. Now careers, what are the careers in this? Now we were talking, no, that the parents force the child to take up this when the child does not have a knack of it. So you have to make the parents understand that there are a lot of career opportunities in every field, not only in science, but in every field, whereas with humanities or with maths, I mean with commerce or everything, commerce with maths, commerce without maths, then we have art integration, so many things are there. So how will they know that there are so many streams? How will the parents know? They will know it is your first and foremost priority to educate them with the new career opportunities. Okay, with the new career opportunities, then we have the emotional intelligence. That is, I had already spoken to you about self-awareness, self-management, then motivational, relationship management, empathy, everything I had spoken to you. Now, this is what I was talking about the career. What is the career counseling? You should always have career counseling guides for your school. You should have a career counseling hub in your school where you make the children also understand along with the parents. You are the bridge between the child and the parent. So you are the best person to judge because you are there with the child. You know the interest of the child. Talk to the child, make the parents understand. So it is very important for you. Now, counseling. How do you counsel? Career counseling. You have to focus and identify the special, where the goal, the child must have set a goal. Okay, I have to reach there. So how will the child reach what is the benefit of that career if that child takes? What is he going to get in returns? Will he get a job or will he be self-employed? All those benefits, and you have to talk about the advantages and disadvantages. Everything you have to be clear about. You have to create a career cell in your school where you have career counseling guides. You can invite the other institutions to come up and give them a good talk to know about the different careers, where you train the parents also, make them aware. Parents should be aware. You know, they just have a mindset there is only commerce, science and engineering है, doctor medical है, nursing है, कॉमर्स में चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट बन जाएगा, बैंकिंग में चले जाएगा, ह्यूमैनिटीज में टीचर बन जाएगा, प्रोफेसर बन जाएगा, these things. But no, you have to make them understand that अभी बहुत कुछ changes आया है. There are a lot of career opportunities. If you are not taking up science, but still you can go for an engineering field, there are a lot of opportunities open for the children for nowadays. So you have to make them understand, and you should understand first, and then you should take a step to make them understand. So benefits of this competency-based learning, this we have already talked about, know your child. So what I want to tell you is, I hope this session you must have been helpful for you. For your child, you will apply KYC in your classrooms along with the parents. And I, Dr. Maushmi, say thank you to all for participating today. And I wish all of you a happy Holi in advance. So I hope whatever you have learned today, you implement in your classrooms and try to educate the parents. Thank you so much.